to another project tour. This is so exciting because I am finally touring you through our recently opened fitness studio, Common Ground. Common Ground is all about community. This is a fitness studio whose core values include body neutrality, gender neutrality, and social wellness. And it's for that reason that Common Ground is unlike any other fitness studio in Vancouver. It's also the reason why House of Bohn was so excited to partner with them as their interior designer for this project. It took a year and a half to get this space open for a couple reasons. The first is that this location is in the heart of Olympic Village. And funny enough, this area isn't actually zoned for a fitness studio. So this project had to go through a very long permitting process in order to get this space rezoned for fitness. The other is that right at the tail end of getting this gym open, well, COVID hit, and that had a huge impact on getting the doors open to Common Ground. But now that this space is open, I could not be happier for them because they've been super busy, and this really truly is a business with heart. The House of Bohn team had a great time coming up with the concept and the design for this project. Coming out of the gates, we knew that Common Ground was going to be completely different than your typical black and white athletic space. Common Ground is the absolute opposite to typical gyms, which can sometimes be intimidating. Instead, this is a space where you are supported no matter your body shape and size, no matter where you are on the spectrum of race and gender. This is a space that is completely inclusive. We wanted it to be fun and playful, mid-century modern inspired, because what gym do you know takes cue from mid-century modern? And it had to be warm and vibrant as well as theatrical and grounded. There's warm woods, there's interesting materials. We wanted to create the idea of community as soon as you walk into the space, and we wanted it to have a little bit of a nostalgic feel. You know, kind of like your grandparents' 70s home, the time when we didn't have social media, we weren't on our phones all the time, and the kind of space that you would come to and just kick back, relax, and have a good time with friends. In order to do that, we have a palette that is a little retro inspired. You can see a whole bunch of walnut wood and millwork. We paired the walnut with this terrazzo, and I love this terrazzo because this is such a brand statement for Common Ground. This facility is 3,600 square feet and it has 2 studio spaces. There's one studio space for spin and there's another studio space for classes like yoga, dance, rain movement, and other group fitness classes. There's a large reception area in the front where we're standing right now, and I'm gonna tour you through this space all the way to the spin studio in the back. One thing that was really important to us when we were putting together the space plan is having a really large reception area and a nice big reception desk that's close to the door. There's a few reasons for that. First, we really wanted to create a space that is incredibly welcoming. Whenever there's classes and people are coming in to check in for their classes, there's always people here to greet guests that are coming in. Second, when you're running a studio and you have multiple classes running at one time, or classes that require equipment like a spin studio, you've got to check in to get your equipment right at the front. So it made sense that this area with a big reception desk, a ton of millwork for storage, and a nice big sign was close to the front entry and really close to the front door. At a first glance, you would not know that it is not real wood, but the nice thing about laminate is that it's highly, highly durable. Another key feature that was really important in the front entry is having an interesting sign. So in this case, we've got a round circular cutout right in the center of the walnut millwork with bronze mirror and white vinyl letters on top. The sign is illuminated and it's just kind of a really nice touch. It's something really different. This reception desk is a faceted desk, so it's got a really interesting shape and geometry to it, and it's finished front, sides, and back with this terrazzo material. This material has this light-hearted, fun kind of mood to it, and that's exactly the feeling that we wanted to convey when you walk into Common Ground. The large reception desk is flanked by these two retail areas, which was really important for Common Ground. I love this because Common Ground has a whole bunch of their own merch. We've got walnut shelving with brass rods, which really ties in to the whole vibe in this front area. It was really important to the owners that there was an area where people could come and hang out either before or after a class. We've got a couple of club chairs that are in a brown leather. We've got this great bench that's open to the communal table, a coffee table, and again, another bronze circular mirror that sort of mimics what's going on the other side with the Common Ground sign. All the furniture is also really great for sweat because it's vinyl, it's wipeable, it's washable. On the other side of this lounge area is a communal table. I love this area because you can see this right now. There's so much natural light spilling into this space. This is really important because natural light has such an impact on mood and well-being. A focus of Common Ground is education and teaching classes, and they really wanted an area where you could seat a few people. There's about 12 chairs here right now. One of my favorite things to do when I go into a space is to try to keep the integrity of the space alive. So with these concrete columns, I wanted them to just stay concrete. I just love that you can see the actual architecture of the space and that these columns become a design feature in this room. As you move through the space and you move from the front entry into the studio area, you have to pass through this arch. You'll see arches throughout the space, and what I love about that is that they have a little bit more of a playful feel to them. Originally, when we had designed this, these openings were squared off, and it was sort of at the last second at framing while walking through this space that we thought, you know what? These openings need a little bit more character. We need to do something fun with them. So we decided to turn all the openings into arches, and I'm so happy we made that choice because it gives so much more personality to the space. As you move through the corridor, there's a couple things that I want to point out. First, we've got a shoe and towel station here, and this is key because as you're leaving a class, you've finished up, you've gotten changed, you can easily throw your shoes and your towels in this area. This was designed to be incredibly functional and easy to use because these cabinets open right up, and then we have bins on wheels for all the towels, the laundry, and the shoes. I'm also going to point out these lockers, and I love how we treated these lockers because, again, we wanted to do something a little bit different. These are your typical lockers that are powder coated, but to dress them up, we've got gold vinyl lettering, numbers in different sizes that are randomly placed along this wall of lockers. And what that does is it creates a little bit more of a graphic and playful element in the space. We decided to keep the ceilings in the corridors open to save on cost because it is really expensive to install a flat, clean drywall ceiling. With so much mechanical and ductwork running through the ceiling, we still wanted to make this area feel designed and intentional, especially because there's so much foot traffic in this area. We decided to do a simple ceiling treatment, which was to create a paint line and paint everything above that a vibrant orange. The exact color is called Outgoing Orange, and it's by Sherwin-Williams Paint. And it also just happens to be Dylan, the owner's favorite color. If you ever get a chance to meet him, you'll know it's appropriate because he actually is very outgoing. As we move towards the end of the hallway, we've got another design feature. This water station is high impact because you've got terrazzo on the back wall, you've got it on the counter, it's got gold faucets, deep black bold sinks filled with rocks. It's got a zen feeling to it, and it's incredibly functional. Flanking the water station are waiting areas. We've got these benches that have been designed in the walnut laminate finish, but what's great about these benches is that they actually also double as storage. So the tops flip open and you've got extra room for storage. This spin studio, we had a ton of fun designing this space. Dylan, being a spin instructor, we really got to pick his brain about how a spin class runs. And one of the things that's really important about a great spin class is having the instructor on a stage. They really are a performer. They're the ones that are getting everybody hyped, they're keeping the energy high in the room, and they're the ones that are making sure you're getting your sweat on. So with that in mind, we designed the space so that it had almost like a stadium effect. You've got rows of bikes on steps that tier upwards towards the back. That way, everyone who's on a bike in the back of the room can still see the stage and the performer up front. There's a lot of different lighting going on, and we collaborated with EOS Lighting in order to make this happen. So we've got this great LED light that can be turned on and off. The colors can change. It can change to the beat of the music. But with that, it was key that you can also dim the lights right down and turn them off completely. Riding in the dark is something that's really important to Dylan and the instructors here, because doing a fitness class in the dark allows you to just turn inward and focus on your own physical experience. You really do leave with a sense of lightness and a sense of positivity that you simply can't access when you're focused on your physical self or when you're focused on comparing you to the people who are beside you. The House of Bohn team and I are thrilled with the way the spin studio turned out, especially with all the LED lighting. But we're equally excited about the second studio. The second studio space is such a unique room to do fitness in, especially because the texture of the rock wall adds a three-dimensional quality, which really adds to the experience of doing fitness in this space. We've got this really beautiful dark wood floor. The walls are almost a black, the ceiling is also black, but behind me is this incredible rock wall. The unique thing about this studio is that they run yoga classes, Pilates classes, rain classes, dance, and group fitness classes out of this space. The rock wall creates just kind of a different element that is unusual. It's not something that you would see in a typical gym space. The other two walls in this room are mirrored. What you can also do here is dim the lights right down. Often they'll do classes just by candlelight, and you can see the candles behind me. Body neutrality is super important and an important concept to Common Ground. And so being able to turn inward, not focus on yourself in the mirror, not focus on the people beside you, is really, really important for the entire fitness experience that you would get in one of these two studios. This space needs a lot of storage. Instructors need to keep all of this equipment here because they run so many different classes out of this studio. There's also some storage down below, and these storage units are on casters, which make it really easy to access and also tuck away. The washroom area is the space that most reinforces the idea of inclusivity and gender neutrality. We wanted to design this space so that it's completely inclusive. That means that everybody who uses the facility shares the space. There's no distinction as to who can go where. There's one large arched opening, and because it's so open, when you're in the washroom, you still feel like you're kind of in the corridor. Now, while that might seem intimidating, it actually has the opposite effect. the sense of openness really does feel inclusive because you're sharing space and you're not shutting anybody out. Now, with that said, of course, there's private areas where you can change. So we've got a bank of washrooms on one wall, and we have an area where there's also shower facilities. So if you want privacy, no problem, you're gonna get your privacy. But out here in the open space, this is finished with a whole bunch of terrazzo. A few interesting elements in the washroom area are these backlit mirrors. They're framed with gold frames. We've got a few different shapes, from circular mirrors to more of an oval shape. We've got a nice big wall-to-wall mirror where you can blow dry your hair or do your makeup. And then of course we have a ton of brass accents throughout this area. Seeing the design come together and people using the space could not make me happier. I am so thrilled with the end result. It's such a joy to work with businesses who have values that really center around positivity, getting to experience the entire process from the inception of design right through construction, its opening, and then afterwards, actually using the space, myself and my team, is so much fun and such a joy, and you really feel like you're part of this amazing community that is Common Ground. Thank you so much for watching this project tour. If you want to see more photos of Common Ground, head over to our website at houseofbohn.com. I cannot wait to hear all of your comments. I can't wait to hear what you have to say about the design. Make sure you tell us in the comments below. And until next time, we'll see you in the next project tour.